Hey everyone, let's talk about something every single driver thinks about. How can I squeeze more mileage out of my fuel tank? Well, you're in luck. We've got 7 essential tips that are going to make a real difference, so let's get right into it. So, does this sound familiar? You feel like you're practically living at the gas station, and your car's mileage just keeps getting worse and worse. If that's hitting a little too close to home, stick around. We're going to break down the biggest reasons why this happens and, more importantly, the super simple ways to fix it. All right, first up, let's tackle the quick wins. These are the super easy checks that literally anyone can do. Think of it like a weekly health checkup for your car. That's going to pay you back big time at the pump. Okay, problem number 1, and this is probably the most common culprit out there, a dirty air filter. You got to remember, your engine needs to breathe. And when that filter is all clogged up with dust and gunk, it's like trying to run a marathon while breathing through a tiny straw. The engine is literally gasping for air. So what does it do? It burns more fuel to make up for it. And that right there is killing your mileage. Now, the best part? The fix is so simple. All you have to do is check the air filter. If it looks dirty, sure, you might be able to clean it, but honestly, for the best performance, just replace it. It's a really cheap and easy fix that you'll feel the impact of right away. So the big question is, how often? Well, a really good rule of thumb is to check it every 5,000 to 7,000 kilometers. Just make it a regular part of your car care routine and you'll be set. All right, next on the list is something so many of us forget about: tire pressure. And here's why it's so important. When your tires are underinflated, they kind of flatten out against the road, right? So more of the tire is touching the pavement. This creates a ton more friction. Engineers call it rolling resistance, and it basically means your engine has to work way harder just to get the car moving. And that burns a whole lot of extra fuel. And again, the solution is super easy. Just get into the habit of checking your tire pressure once a week. And don't just guess. Inflate them to the exact PSI that your car's manufacturer recommends. You can almost always find that number on a sticker right inside the driver's side door. Super simple. Okay, so we've covered the quick weekly checks. Now let's pop the hood and talk about what's going on inside the engine. This next part is all about the routine maintenance that is absolutely critical for keeping your engine healthy and efficient. You know, it's so tempting to push that oil change just a little bit longer, but that's a huge mistake when it comes to mileage. See, over time, your engine oil gets old, it breaks down, it gets filled with gunk from the engine, and it turns into this thick sludge. That old oil just can't lubricate properly, which means more friction between all the moving parts. Your engine has to fight against that friction, working harder and burning more fuel. So the key here is simple: stay on schedule. Change that oil every 5,000 kilometers. And please, use the quality of oil that your car's manufacturer recommends. It's so important. Just remember this: a happy, freely moving engine is a fuel-efficient engine. It's pretty amazing when you think about it, how a tiny little part can have such a massive impact. I'm talking about spark plugs. See, when they get old and worn out, they just can't create a strong enough spark. That means the fuel in your engine doesn't burn completely. The engine misfires. And what does that mean for you? It means you are literally just throwing unburnt fuel right out of your exhaust pipe. That's just wasted money and terrible mileage. And hey, for anyone who's not totally sure what a spark plug does, here's the quick version. Think of it as the ignition switch for your engine. It creates a tiny spark, like a little bolt of lightning, inside the engine that ignites the mix of air and fuel. That explosion is what creates power. So it's pretty clear, right? Without a good, strong spark, the whole system just doesn't work efficiently. And because they're so important, you've got to get them checked regularly. Here's a number to keep in mind. Have them inspected about every 20,000 to 30,000 kilometers. Okay, so we've talked a lot about the car itself, right? The mechanics. But now let's talk about the single biggest factor when it comes to fuel economy, and that's you. Yep, the person in the driver's seat. Your habits can either save you a ton of money or cost you a fortune. And this really shows the difference, doesn't it? Aggressive driving, slamming on the gas, braking hard at the last second, that just forces your engine to guzzle fuel for these quick, inefficient bursts of power. The real secret to saving fuel is being smooth. Gentle acceleration, looking way down the road so you can ease off the gas instead of braking, and just keeping a steady speed whenever you can. And hey, here's a little pro tip for you. Most cars are at their absolute happiest, their peak fuel efficiency, when they're just cruising along at a steady speed, usually somewhere between 60 and 80 kilometers per hour. If you can avoid that constant stop and go, you'll see a massive difference. Okay, this next one is just basic physics, really. The heavier your car is, the more energy it takes to get it moving. Simple as that.
All that extra junk you might be carrying around in your trunk or that roof rack you never use, it's all just extra weight that puts more strain on your engine, making it burn more fuel every single kilometer you drive. So, the solution is obvious. Keep your car light. Only carry what you really need.
All right, so we've covered the stuff you can do yourself and how you drive. For our last section, let's talk about when it's time to bring in the pros. Plus, I've got one final, really important piece of advice for you. Even if you do everything right, a car can slowly fall out of tune. Over time, really important parts like your fuel injectors can get clogged up. And when that happens, the engine can't get that perfect mix of air and fuel it needs to run efficiently. That directly translates to wasted fuel, and you'll probably even feel the car getting a bit sluggish. So, to keep your car running like a top, you really should schedule a full engine tune-up with a good mechanic. Getting this done, say, every 6 months or so, is the best way to make sure all those important engine parts are clean, perfectly calibrated, and working together just the way they should for maximum efficiency. Okay, before we wrap this up, I've got a bonus tip for you, and this is a big one. It's so tempting to go for the cheaper fuel to save a few bucks, right? But trust me, in the long run, it's a bad move. Lower quality fuel can have stuff in it that actually hurts your engine over time. Think of using good quality fuel as a long-term investment in your car's health and its fuel efficiency. So, let's do a super quick recap of what we've learned. It really all boils down to two things: consistent maintenance and smart driving. Check those filters and tires. Don't skip your oil and spark plug changes. Drive smooth and don't haul around extra weight. And finally, get those professional tune-ups and use good fuel. That's the whole shebang. Honestly, following even a few of these steps can make a massive difference in how much you spend on fuel. So I'll leave you with this question. What kind of mileage is your car giving you right now? And, more importantly, which one of these tips are you going to try first? Thanks for tuning in.